Hi everyone. It is me, Sailor. It's me, Sailor Moon here, Serena here, and me, Sailor Earth, Ernest P. Worrell here. And today we're going to talk about is Ernest being Sailor Earth, and was the Sailor Moon followership welcoming of it? Were they onlooking of it? Now, at first there were a lot of folks in the Sailor Moon followership who were very open-minded to Ernest P. Worrell being Sailor Earth. First was Mike Willagi 86 that really liked the thought of someone of Ernest P. Worrell being Sailor Earth. The next one would be Nick 2121. He was also very backing and onlooking of Ernest being Sailor Earth, but he's no longer on Euro anymore. The other one would be C.K. Smith 08. He was another one that was also backing of Ernest being Sailor Earth. There was Omen Boy, and there was also Trina Chase, who is also one of those who really likes Ernest as Sailor Earth. But since there were a lot of folks in the Sailor Moon followership that are gone and some are still around, some of them were not so open-minded or onlooking of Ernest being Sailor Earth. This didn't happen in Ernest was being Sailor Earth as early as 2008 YL, but he didn't show up until 2009 YL in our books that we were writing and still write to this day. And at the time, there was no dolls. We didn't have the Ernest doll you see here today. All we had were drawings, but those wouldn't come until later. By 2010 or at least 2011 around those times, there was someone who was on Euro and someone who was not open-minded to Ernest being Sailor Earth and thought that he was a slighting, or shaming Nako Takaguchi, or Naiko Takaguchi, or Takenshi, however you go by saying her kin name, I don't know. But that was further from the truth. You got some things to say? Yeah, you're right, Sailor Moon. You're right, Serena. I mean, when I came along as Sailor Earth, I wasn't following the oversight that only girls or women can be sailor keepers or sailor fighters. But Toei themselves broke the oversight, if it was an oversight, with the Sailor Starlights. Sailor Star Fighter, Healer, and Maker are known as Jordan, Dustin, and Julian. So, yeah, I think by then folks would have knew it already happened. But then someone comes along and starts gatekeeping. At first, it was all about, what you can't, and made a big thing about me being Sailor Earth, and thought it was a slight, a Nako Takenshi, and that I should not be a sailor fighter under the grounds that I was going against this holy, but it wasn't even holy. You really couldn't, there was an oversight that was made by the writer and the drawer of Sailor Moon, Nako Takaguchi, but I don't think she really took it that earnest enough, and I don't really think she would have I don't really know what she would have thought of me, but she wouldn't have gotten all bitchy like this one fellow did, and said I was slighting Nako Takaguchi as being Sailor Earth, and, I had no right to do that. And how dare I break the oversight that only girls or women can be sailor fighters or sailor keepers. And I don't know where any of that came from, to be earnest with you. I never said anything to bring it on. It was never my goal to slight anyone. It was, and be earnest with you, Snoop Dogg or Calvin Kajor as Sailor Sun. Well, that was C.K. Smith 08 broughting in Sailor Sun. So, we don't really have any likenesses of him as a sailor fighter, but whatever, he is one. And so, right there. And a lot of folks that I talked to You know, Michael Loggy 86, Nicholas, Nick 2121, Ethan, David, you know, Omen Boy, Ethan, Megan, from, or whatever her fairways were when she was on here. And Ethan over folks, other folks like Trina Chase, who also, a lot of these folks who liked me as Sailor Earth and were very open-minded to me being Sailor Earth. Oh yeah, you're right, Sailor Earth. You're right, Ernest. And a lot of folks will bring up the robot chicken or the Told Chicken skit that they did in one of their sagas, where everyone is out eating at some eating hall at some shop somewhere, and next thing you know, the owner becomes, a fiend takes over him, and everyone shapeshift. And then there's some man who's sitting there who I guess is kind of overweight, and he says, I'll become Sailor Earth. And when Amy goes, how can you be Sailor Earth? You know, Sailor Quicksilver goes, how can you be Sailor Earth? He says, watch and learn, and he shapeshifts, he becomes Sailor Earth. And Sailor Mars, Sailor Red World says, well, you are something. And then Sailor Mercury, Sailor Quicksilver says, okay, what are your might and strengths and strikes? And he goes, all the things of Earthlings. And first he goes in saying some kind-hating shit, and they scave him for it, and he goes, oh, is kind-hating still not a thing anymore? Well, that's not a strike at all. And then he goes, drinks something, and says, don't worry, I got a handle on this, and says, drunken bind, because he gets drunk, and he trips and falls down and hits the wand, and then by hitting his staff, and it hits some kind of pipe or way, and shit goes everywhere. Well, it kills the fiend, but it makes the eating hall of this shop unworkable for months. He then says, hey, you know that oversight that goes shit where you sleep? Well, guess what? I own all this shit now because I killed the owner, is what he says. And then I say, he makes me feel ashamed for being a woman-like being. And then he goes, you know what I call this? He goes, you ever heard that Earth saying, never shit where you sleep? And they say it's not a saying. And he goes, yeah, it is. Tell that the next time to the sea when some kind of, you know, ooze spill happens. And I go, hey, can I get in on that ownership too? Because he's saying he owns all the things now. And that's really where that skit ends, because there is no follow-up to it, you know. And I'm guessing that everyone out there in the Sailor Moon followership, the ones that really followed that oversight, were bitching and ranting and scathing and shaming, you know, Robot Chicken or Told Chicken and everyone that made that skit, and saying, oh, how dare you do that? But most of the folks in the Sailor Moon followership that really didn't take that oversight earnest enough probably got a good laugh out of it. So you see, it isn't something I made up. And it's true that Ernest of Sailor Earth might not be shown on the seek when you're searching or seeking something on URO. Hell, he might not be on the list of everyone's Sailor Earth. Is going to be, everyone's got their own Sailor Earth. I think it was hidden. It was hidden name. It was code name or hidden name Sailor Earth. She put it this way. She said that in every world there are a Sailor Earth, and each world has a Sailor Earth. So, and she was open-minded to him being Sailor Earth, so there. Alright, folks, that's going to be the end of us giving our thoughts on Ernest, or Ernest P. Worrell as Sailor Earth, what the Sailor Moon followership thought of it, and what our take on it was. So, let us know, do you like me as Sailor Earth, or you don't? Give me your thoughts on that. I, Sailor Earth Ernest, and I, Sailor Moon Serena, and we'll see you later.